Dear learners, in today's session, we are going to see about the sensors and actuators used in Internet of Things. We all know the Internet of Things, it is a buzzword, and currently we are using it in several applications. Before getting into the sensors and actuators topic, we should know what are the basic electrical components used in IoT. That is very important to fix the circuit. What is Industry 4.0? It is also called Fourth Industrial Revolution. In the history of the Industry 4.0, initially the industry moved from agriculture to mechanization. And in 2.0, the assembly line has been introduced. And in 3.0, the introduction of semiconductors and other electronic gadgets have been introduced. And finally, in 4.0, we have reached the cyber physical system and networking components. And now we are in a stage where we are in between Industry 4.0 and 5.0. So in Industry 4.0, what is the thing is, imagine a world where only the machines are talking to each other and it makes decisions on their own and they work together seamlessly without needing the human intervention. And that is what Industry 4.0 is all about, and that is the basics of IoT also. According to the adoption report given by the Industry 4.0, nearly 17 technologies have been adopted, and among them we have seen something. One is the seventh one, cloud. It is an important technology, and another one is the IoT and IoT platforms. And apart from these concepts, cyber security, edge computing and artificial intelligence are the blooming domains. So we are going to see a few components, and the first among them is a transistor. The transistor, it is a very tiny electronic component which is used as a switch. We have seen switches in our home. Once it is on, the lights are on, and once it is pushed down, the lights are off. Similarly, the transistor can act as a switch and it can transfer the electricity once it is on the on form, and it stops the flow of electricity if it is off. And the next one, important one, why should I learn about transistors? In Intel 8086, it has only 29,000 transistors. But now, according to Intel Core i9 processor, it has billions of transistors. So how it works and what is the role of the transistors in the embedded chip is very, very important. And the exact role of the transistors in IoT is the next one. A very simple example, I am sitting in a room, and if I am feeling a high temperature, then automatically that will be sensed by the sensor attached in the room, and the information will be given to the microcontroller, and the microcontroller processes the information and gives the message to the air conditioner in your room to start cooling your room immediately. This is a very simple example. Similar to the temperature, the motion can be also sensed. The light can also be sensed. The reduction of gas is also possible. So with the help of transistors, this can be accomplished. And the next electrical component is capacitor. Capacitor, it acts as a rechargeable battery. It is a very tiny rechargeable battery. It has the ability to store a small amount of electricity, and when required it can be released. That is the role of the capacity. It looks like a drum also. So where the capacitors are used, where we cannot have the electricity which is steady, which is having the steady flow, in that place we can use this tiny rechargeable batteries. And the third one is the resistor. Resistor, the name itself is resisting. It is like a traffic policeman, and it can regulate the flow of the electricity. So like adjusting a knob, like tuning something while listening to the radio, we can use the resistor to control the flow of electricity. What amount of electricity should be transferred, that can be controlled by resistors. And the fourth one is transformer. Transforming means one state to another state. So similarly, the size of the electrical signals can be enhanced. It can be amplitude increased. So that is the working of the transformer. And final one, we have all seen this, a diode. A diode, it is a one-way door for electricity. It means it regulates the flow in such a way that it should flow in a correct direction and it should not leave the electricity to another direction, so that will be blocked. Simply, the diodes are called the electrical gatekeepers. Once we understand all these five, what is a transistor, a resistor, capacitor, transformer and diode, the next step is we can move towards microcontrollers. Actually, the microcontrollers are the brains of IoT devices that is kept in between the sensors and actuators. The sensors are used to receive the input from the field and it passes the information to the microcontroller, and the microcontroller processes those information and it sends signal to the actuators to carry out the necessary action. This is how the IoT, basic IoT device works. And the popular choices for this microcontrollers are Arduino, Raspberry and ESP. So a simple comparison between Arduino and Raspberry Pi. Arduino, it follows a very simple structure of computer, and Raspberry Pi, it is a single one board computer actually. When compared with Arduino, it has its own benefits. But the main comparison, otherwise the prime comparison between Arduino and Raspberry is Arduino has strong I/O capacity. With the Arduino, it is able to directly connect with the I/O devices, but Raspberry has weak I/O device capacity. Now we are getting into our actual topic, sensors. Sensors, there are a number of sensors, and among those I have mentioned, I am going to mention a few here. The sensors collect data from the physical environment and gives the data to the microcontroller. The first one is the temperature and humidity sensor. The temperature sensor normally measures the temperature, and if it exceeds a level, then it will pass on the information. Example, like cooling, starting the air conditioner to cool the room. And humidity will be measured in the agricultural land, whether we have to continue with the watering or not. And pressure sensors are used to measure the atmospheric pressure, and depends upon the level it will pass on the information. And the next one is an interesting one, motion sensors. So detect the movement of the objects. This can be used by the GPS and the e-vehicle systems, etc. If you are moving towards automated vehicle, then they can use the motion sensors. And the fourth one is the proximity sensors. It is used to detect the presence or absence of the nearby objects. By comparing the distances, it is able to detect whether the object is present or not. Next one is the light sensors. The light levels will be measured and passed to the microcontroller. Gas sensors, it will be used even in kitchen. We can detect whether the gas flow is in the right way or whether it is exceeding. And final one is biometric sensors. These biometric sensors are nowadays attached with our even smart watches. It measures our heart rate, blood pressure, etc. And that's all about the sensors which give input to the microcontrollers. And the next one are the actuators. Actuators are the real components that perform the actions given by the microcontrollers. The microcontrollers give commands to the actuators, and the actuators carry out the actions. A simple one is the servo motor. It is used for precise positioning and control. And next one is the DC motor. Some of the robotic applications, even the movement of hands, legs, etc. can be done with the help of DC motors. And simple feedback if you want to give, then it can be done with the help of LEDs. An alert can be given. If a red light is shown, something happens like that. And then relays. Relays are used to control the higher power devices to regulate the flow. And apart from this also, even cameras can also be used as the actuators. Finally, we come to the real flow of IoT. This is a very simple example. The temperature sensor is used to detect the heat, and if the heat exceeds a limit, then a signal will be sent to the control center, and the control center, it particularly sends a command to the sprinkler that it can start sprinkling and puts out the flame. So sensor gives the input collected from the field, and it transfers it to the control center, and the actuator takes care of the action to be done. What else? That is the next one. Apart from these sensors and actuators, the IoT requires communication modules, because nowadays we are doing everything with the help of the internet connectivity. So these are the modules required for working with the internet, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, cellular, as well as for long range we are having LoRa. Finally, how a circuit is converted into the real protection scene. So during the development stage only we are using a simple prototyping board like we have seen earlier, either Arduino or Raspberry, and later the transition will happen. The custom design will be converted, it will be converted into a custom design PCB for production. And so far in this section we have seen about the sensors, actuators that are used in the IoT, and what are all the core electrical components which drives the IoT. Hope this session helps you. Thank you. Enjoy learning.